Good evening. Welcome to another episode of the Power Hour. I'm Steve, along with PX, the leader of the LIM, and of course, the man that needs no introduction, NWA's own, the urban sensation, C.Red. And we'll talk about NWA in just a few minutes. But first of all, we're going to start tonight with a big fuck you to Xfinity. Motherfuckers, I pay you so much fucking money every month for reliable internet service. And here it is, the one night of the fucking week that I use this shit. And I have to wait a half hour for the shit to be rebooted. Xfinity, do better. You suck.
Did you get the update?
This has been a public service announcement from the Power Hour. We now return you to your regular scheduled episode. And by joining us in our regularly scheduled episode, we, of course, now welcome into the fray our one and only knockout. It is, of course, Cactus Rack, a.k.a. Rachel, a.k.a. Sedusa, a.k.a. Russian Blue. You name it, that's her. Hello, Cactus.
Hello, hello. Oh, sorry, hold on. Hey, girl, hey.
Hey, girl, hey. I was just giving a big fuck you to Xfinity because now I hate them. And now I want to change providers because all the money I pay them to not have internet when I want it is unacceptable at all times. So
sounds about right.
Yep. So fuck you, Xfinity. Fuck you.
All I can say is do not switch to T-Mobile because your problems will be nothing if not worse.
I don't like something that's got all that pink in it. It's just too much pink, too busy for me. But that's neither here nor there. Tonight we've got a great episode and our special guest. Yeah, well, Comcast Xfinity, I guess it is the same thing. Thanks, Pat. You are now feeling what I'm feeling. Tonight, our guest will be Ben McCoy, Ben Manthey, the proprietor, the heart and soul behind Frontline Pro Wrestling. We got a big show this weekend. It's the 6th anniversary of Call to Arms. So around 7:30, this podcast time, Ben will be joining us. It's about at the halfway point, and we will wrap things up with him. So we're going to start with the chaos that we experienced Sunday evening. And let's issue the retractions. And I'm going to let our statistician and our minute taker, Cactus Rack, issue all the retractions that we need to retract from last week's episode of all the things we said that just weren't true.
I can only remember one. So I will do that one, and then it's on you for the rest.
I will take that.
The Power Hour would like to apologize for telling our audience that parking was free. At some point between Sunday's show and the previous show in December, somebody purchased the parking lot next to the Concord Music Hall, installed a shitty little hut, and has hired people to stand outside and take $10 per space. So it is no longer free parking for super wrestlers.
And we feel bad about telling you that it was free because when we were on last week with Billy, that was one of our big selling points is that, there are very few places that are free to park in the city of Chicago. In the state of Illinois in general, you have to pay for everything. I am hip deep in medical situations right now. It is a scam, a racket, and these people should be drawn and quartered. At this point, I feel like the only thing that's going to fix the entire shitstorm that we are dealing with in just life in general is if we revolt and we just say, fuck you, I'm not paying this shit.
We need to learn how to revolt like the French, but that's all I'm going to say about that.
I'm ready to dump some fucking tea in a river. Look, I pay for shit that I don't even know I'm paying for. And I'm like, what value am I getting for this? Like this fucking internet debacle. Fuck you. I ask you for one fucking thing. Provide the service. And we have this whole pixelation thing happening on our television each and every time we try to watch it. So this is a rampant problem we've been bitching about for weeks, months even, and nothing is done. You can't ever talk to a human. Oh, go to the app. The app doesn't work. It's a pile of shit.
Steve, I have to teach you how to Karen because I always talk to a person.
Listen, I'm going to stop you right there because my wife is one of the greatest getters of things for free when she is angry. She's Puerto Rican, so it's in her nature to kill. So let's just
All
keep
I'm
that laughing.
saying, all I was
Half the shit I
saying
have in
was
my
that
life, she got. So let's be realistic
all
about that.
all I was saying was I always can get through to a human.
Well, I may
Oh,
have to bring you in on the team, and you and Dina could probably do some damage because she's pretty good at it. There are times when we'll get, Uber Eats or Grubhub, whatever the fuck the shit is, when I'm too lazy to go get it myself. And if they fuck up her order, she'll call and complain, and the money comes back for the most part. She did have a challenge in recent times that didn't go well, but I'm sure she persevered and got us our money back. But that's neither here nor there. We just need to stop paying for every fucking thing. And it's not Billy Wack's fault. It's not the super wrestler's fault that we have to pay for parking now at the Concord Music Hall. Somebody literally went to Home Depot and got one of those build it yourself huts. And it's like what you see in every carnival situation where you have to buy tickets to eat a fucking potato. They put a little booth up that one human being can stand in, and they take your fucking money. So that's what happened. That was new to us. We paid it, and we parked, and there were, I guess it's legit. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how we would find out if it wasn't legit, but I wasn't worried about the $10 spent because Red was hanging with us. So to me, that's priceless. So whatever I had to pay to hang with Red for the night, and you and Andy, of course, and Jay Beck and all the people we were running with. I mean, that was $10 is nothing to me when it comes to the enjoyment that we had for the evening. But we did tell you here on this show that it was free. We didn't lie. We were hit like a sack of bricks, just like everybody. We talked about lowering the beer prices. And technically, Billy did lower the beer prices. If you paid cash, the beers were $1 less. If you paid credit, they were $1 more. So, it all evens out in the wash. But, he has very little control over that. And, still, going to Super Wrestlers is the greatest value in town because what you get for the 25 you spend, the value is priceless. And we had a great show, probably the best Super Wrestler show I've seen to this point. We had vampires turning into werewolves, pirates turning into vampirates. We had monsters and generals from other realms. We had chaos. We had a broken robot. We had a chef that can't get his orders on time. It was a bevy of entertainment that is unsurpassed, even to the point where you had an established AEW superstar standing amongst the crowd, watching the show. Her picture's on the side of a fucking truck in your town when she's driving in. She's on TV 3 times a week, and she's standing in the back of the pavilion, and nobody cares, which is unbelievable because anytime Sky Blue walks out at CSW and does anything in public, she is flocked to by masses of human beings wanting pictures and autographs. She got to simply enjoy a wrestling show, watching her boy Jordan Cross do what he does. And I think I might have been one of the only people that bothered her and said, "Hey, I'll see you Friday." So, that's the kind of show this is. It defies logic and description on every level. And I'm still pretty sure Billy Wack is the best dressed human being I know. Red, we should get suits like that and wear them at a show matching a commentary.
No.
Come on now. That was a hell of a suit.
For Billy Wack?
For Billy, anybody could. I mean, okay, maybe I couldn't wear it. You could wear it. You would look good.
No. I don't like Mario that damn much.
I understand. And Red, you had a better time than most because of who you were sitting next to. Would you care to elaborate on that?
No.
Red, come on.
No, because
our job tell us stories about who you sat with.
Our job isn't to not belittle, but just put people on blast that don't need to be
there
put
was
on
no blast. That was part of why the show was so
Steven,
fun.
I think what C.Red is saying is that we are not a gossip rag.
Cactus Rack, do you believe that?
If it were not true, I would have a hell of a lot more to say than I do.
Now, what you say very often that he's got the spill the tea insignia up there. Pat's is on fire tonight. You are the person that loves the drama.
Mm-hmm.
And that not that there was drama, but it certainly was funny.
It
I
was
saw no drama.
no drama. It made for a very interesting night. Um, just the whole night in general, was like it was that moment where you can just, for all of us that participate in this business,
The
um,
puppy who was lost.
right, he still lost.
There were
Uh,
signs.
but we were able to just sit back and be what we originally first were, and that's fans.
Mm-hmm.
So
There's C.Red trying to get the whereabouts of business puppy so he can collect the reward.
well, I think we kind of figured it out. Destroyer took him back wherever.
That's Destructo to you and me.
Des- Destructor, Destroyer, Potato.
Destroyer's a Kiss album, for God's sake.
I know, right? One of the best ever. Um, so going back to that Sky Blue thing, dude, I think even her, that's a night that she needed. You know, you get tired, somebody, I'm sure, uh, somebody that has reached the success that she has, you hate getting people constantly running up to you. Hey, can I get your autograph? Hey, can I take a picture? When you can have one night where you're just kind of chill, you know, uh, people cracked on me. You don't have any red on, I'm trying to just keep a low profile.
I think it's
Um,
going to be not too long before you're a super wrestler yourself, but we'll keep your character title under wraps for now because without Riyadh here, I don't have anybody to judge if it's racist or not. But that's a story for another time.
it's
One thing,
not racist.
one thing did piss me off about the show. One thing rubbed me the wrong way. One thing made me be like, well, that's just bullshit.
And what's that?
You.
What I do?
I'm not famous. Nobody knows who I am. Everybody knows who you fucking are. You
Mm-hmm.
fucking people came up to ask about how you're doing, and then you get shuffled into the back. Nobody gets to go to the back of the super wrestlers, you motherfucker. And nobody know me bitching and moaning the whole fucking time, and I don't see him for fucking 45 minutes. Ain't
That
nobody
intermission.
knew.
That intermission was not
Bullshit.
45 minutes.
Uh-huh. Felt like 45 minutes you was gone. I was going to send out a rescue party. I thought maybe they kidnapped you like they did Business Puppy.
Hey,
For the last fucking time, everybody knows who you are, Mr. NWA. Oh, I can't say
no.
that because I pissed off Joe Alonzo on Twitter. Sorry, Joe. Moving on. We'll talk about NWA in a few minutes. Red, we've done a lot of wrestling stuff together in the decade plus that we've been doing things together, from the crash tested days to now. And we've done a lot of shows. We've interviewed lots of people. And I think the interesting thing about Billy Whack and the Super Wrestlers is he is vaguely specific about things that could happen. And then everything he hints around comes in bigger and hotter than you'd ever expect. I told him I was going to be pissed if Pirate wasn't a vampire, but we saw that some shit happened that he's probably going to be a vampire, which I love. I mean, I marked out like a child, especially when the blood
You
was.
did.
I did. That was big time because I'm very much about continuity. But when
Hey,
Vlad
first of all,
Bladder turned into a werewolf, that was the moment of the night for me. Now Red's going to get the prizes he got because not only did he get recognized by everybody, but the Porch Pirate gave him a gift. So, Red, it was C.Red Appreciation Night at Super Wrestlers, apparently.
So the funny part,
And there it is.
Here's the funny part.
Here's the funny part. For those of you that haven't played the drinking game in a while, that's one.
There was, so I got a package.
Oh, by the way, I'm not drinking Pabst Blue Ribbon tonight. I'm drinking Keystone Light tonight because I pay so much for the goddamn internet that I have to buy cheap beer.
So I have this beautiful fishing knife, and I don't fish, but
Yeah, but you
What?
barbecue a lot. Look what you, all right.
I
But you
wonder-
could gut someone like a fish.
yeah, I can. But also, so I was getting ready to throw the bag out, and there's an 8x10 inside the bag. And it was an autograph picture of shit. Now I can't think of his name. It's upstairs.
A
The
super
guy that
wrestler?
no AEW the Murder Hawk. What
Oh
is-
shit. What the fuck is his name? I can't think of it.
I can't either.
Pax
That's
knows
right.
it. Pax gotta know it. Pax follows all that shit. Who's the murder
Pax, what's
hawk?
his name?
Archer.
Archer,
Yeah, Lance Archer.
There
Yeah.
we
Yeah. So it was an autographed 8x10 of Lance Archer inside the bag. So that made the shit even more spectacular. So,
I think that was probably an accident. That can't have been on purpose.
hey, I got it now. So
Yeah, that's probably true. He's gonna call you. The vampire is gonna come a calling one night, kind of in that old school Dracula shit.
hey, do I look this the pirate, you know. But
Yeah,
we
a lot of things
I
happen.
think collectively as a group, first of all, I wouldn't want to sit with anybody else. And this is no offense to any other fans that
That's
go to
that's because
Super
Andy's a comedy show himself.
but it wasn't just Andy, it was Andy,
Feed the
Rachel,
steed. Feed the steed.
it was Pax, it was the
Yeah, the
rest of my
LIM was very
grandson.
boisterous. That's true.
You know, it was like sitting with you guys make a show more enjoyable. Because we never know what's gonna come out of anybody's mouth.
No.
So and we just had a good time. You know, I had I had an assistant with me that night. And she was lovely in her own way. So
She was fueled. Fueled.
so I thank you guys. There's not many things that take my mind off my issues and my problems and my worries. But hanging out with you guys always seems to help. So I'm appreciative that you guys got me to come out. So thank you.
Now, here's another thing. You got to come on June 9th.
I can. I told you I'll be coming back.
Well, here's on
to
June 9th.
Vegas. Vegas. I'm coming back from Vegas.
Oh, that's right. That's right. So Pax hit us to this online today. If you get your tickets now for the Super Wrestlers on June 9th, you get early bird savings. So Pax sent the message up and I went on and did it. You get your ticket for $10 off the regular price if you buy it now.
No, I believe that's only if you've gone to like other shows before, because I got an email a little after I sent that saying that it was part of like a Super Wrestlers loyalty early bird deal.
Well, hey, that was great, Pax. That was a good call because I went on to Access and they're like, yep, you get this ticket. And with tax and handling fees, it only cost me about $20. So I'll take that savings every day of the week and twice on Sunday. I need it with Xfinity.
Let it.
Are we just calling this episode Fuck Xfinity?
Fuck Xfinity in the ass with a giant rubber dick. Kind of like the dick that
Ew.
Hole, like USA Hole had in the ring, as we saw in the highlight package. But anyway, it was a great night. More questions. Very few questions answered. We have a vampire that's a wolf. We have a pirate that's a vampire. We saw the soldiers from Crosternia with shenanigans. They defeated our heroes, and now the Shogun will never get another chance. And there's just all kinds of stuff. But Jordan Cross is going to get a shot at the prize at the next show. So the main event of the next Super Wrestlers on June 9th is going to be the Punk Rock Prince or the Stable King, whatever you want to call him, Jordan Cross, taking on Rydal, the Wicked, for the Super Wrestlers prize. So that'll be a hell of a match. But we had all the fun we could possibly have, from waiting out in the line to getting up there to seeing all the people that come to these shows. And, you know, it was funny because at the beginning of the show, Billy Wack had everybody clap that had been to previous shows, and the ovation was loud. A lot of repeat customers. But then he said, "Who's here for the first time?" And it was almost a bigger reaction. So they are.
Yeah, and guess who one of the first people was?
Who?
It was Deep Cut.
There you
Another Chicago knockout in the audience.
go. Where was Deep Cut? I didn't see her.
Deep Cut was sitting behind where we normally sit.
Really?
Yeah,
I
on the
feel
other
bad.
or on the other side.
I wish I could have said hi. That makes me sad, in a way. But that's neither
Next
here.
time.
But hey, great, the knockouts. And I got love for the knockouts in a minute or two when I do my mea culpa on my NWA situation. But the Super Wrestlers, I think we can all agree we had a great time. We've retracted everything that was important. We've talked about all the highlights, and although Billy Wack won't watch this, you got to thank him and Venom for the creativity that they bring to what this is, and then thank all of the wrestlers that do it, that change into these amazing characters. And you know, we know a lot of these guys, and when they get in the Concord Music Theater, it's a whole different ball game. A whole different ball game. There's a well-known monster that I did not know came from Crossternia. Makes a lot of sense. There's the hot potato belt, and there's
Lockport Joe.
Rockford Joe.
Lockport Joe.
Lockport. Who said
Rockford, not-
Rockford?
I said Rockford. I've been talking to Xavier. It's in my mind. That's neither here nor there. Yeah, a lot of pubic moose hair everywhere as usual. I feel bad that Nexus is broken. He only appeared one time and short-circuited and almost killed Billy Wack. So, you know, that was unfortunate. But overall, Shadows of the Super Wrestlers was fantastic. I can't wait to see what he names the June 9th affair. But definitely get your tickets.
Well, right now they're just calling it Night of the Super Wrestler.
Well, it'll change. Billy Wack has a flair for the theatric, and I'm sure that you know, it will be spectacular. Oh, and also happy birthday, Mr. Wack. We love you. So there you
Happy
go.
birthday.
Here's
Happy
to,
birthday.
I wish it was a Pabst
Birthday of the
ribbon,
Whack.
but thanks to Xfinity, it's Keystone Light. Fucking Xfinity.
And it was good to see different people I haven't seen in a while. So that's always great to see faces you haven't seen. You know, I haven't seen Doug Simmons in quite a while.
Uncle Doug's supporting Jordan, hanging out with Sky. You know, he loves those kids. He has been their biggest supporter for their entire career. So you got to love that.
Jake O'Neill and his brother, Courtney, and just
You said Mike F. and Brooks was there, right?
Mike F. and Brooks was there.
Supreme?
Supreme was there. Yeah, just you know.
Heavy LWF influence. So if you
And
loved the
what
LWF back in the day, you got to come.
Oh yeah, and what makes me, you know, I was a fan, and then just broke in, and you know, but these guys, you know, treat me like, you know, I'm somebody, and I appreciate it.
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
I didn't.
motherfucker. Ain't nobody know who I am. Ain't nobody know who I. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. Damn.
Most of that crowd didn't know who I was.
But plenty of them did. More knew you than didn't.
I'll say it was 60-40.
Yeah,
60 didn't, 40
I
did.
think you're absolutely wrong about that, but that's rehash that for another time. All right, so we all had a great time in Super Wrestlers, and I hope we all get a chance to do it again on June 9th? I know I will.
It's the day before my birthday, so we had
It's
better.
it's 3 days before my birthday. Remember, we share the June month.
Oh, yes, we do. So we're gonna go to Margie's Candies before the show, right? And get sundaes.
I am going to take off June 10th because I want to maybe stay out and howl at the moon a little bit. So I'm gonna put it for the 10th so we can have a little a late birthday celebration for you, but an early birthday celebration for me.
Well, no, it's early for me too because my birthday's the 10th.
Okay,
And
so
it'll be the 9th.
it'll be early birthdays for us both, but we're still gonna celebrate. And we better get gifted some free fucking tickets. If they're giving away free shit.
Yeah, that's all I'm
We've
saying.
been to all these bastards.
We deserve, we
We're
deserve
4
birthday
for
tickets.
fucking 4, man. That's a C note, Billy Whack.
Uh-huh.
Give a brother a break because you know fucking Xfinity won't.
Fuck.
All right. It's
I'm just gonna
Friday night.
punctuate all of your rants tonight like that.
It's just gonna be that way. This Friday night, that's coming up in a few days. CSW presents Over Like Clover. So let's give my home company a little bit of love before we talk to Ben. We've got some great matches. CSW has been riding like a rocket ship in Franklin Park of late. The quality of the shows now, as opposed to even just a few years ago, it's a completely different animal. So if you haven't been to CSW in a while, you owe it to yourself to come out because, the whole dynamic has shifted. It's a place people want to be. Not that people didn't want to be there before, but you've got some of the it people in the industry making their way to Franklin Park. One of the matches that I think C.Red will find interesting, it's kind of a match I think that's been coming down the pike for a minute based on the way the Hate Keepers did the dirty deed to Axel last year. But Axel Rico finally gets a one-on-one match against Shane Hollister. I hope Axel kicks that man's ass up and down the street of Franklin Park because to me, Hollister being in charge of the Hate Keepers as long as he has been before he acquiesced to Warhorse, Jake Parnell, had it in for Axel Rico and they robbed him of his title. So what do you think, Red?
Coming off of a victory off Marche.
That's a big deal to beat Marche Rocket one-on-one clean.
Yeah. Axel is I would pretty much say he's back to 100%. And like you said, his biggest issue is last year, knowing, before it was because of the Hate Keepers, he's injured in sense he loses the title, and Payback is a bitch,
Hollister's going to find that out the hard way.
Yeah, this Hollister is probably thinking, yeah, this is a walk in the park, and this is a different Axel Rico. He's got a huge chip on his shoulder now, and that's because of the Hate Keepers. So I think he's gonna prove Friday night, why he's headed back to the top. I can see it.
Agree everything you just said. My pick also Axel Rico. Let's stay right with the Hate Keepers. Rachel, do you have a dog in this fight?
I do not.
We're moving right on. We're swiping left. Next up would be the Hate Keepers themselves. Marston, Boucher, and Uncle T teaming up to take on the tag team of Adam Stallion, Cypher, and our favorite St. Patrick's Day guest star, who was with us a year ago, everybody's favorite Hornswoggle. Now, I don't like the Hate Keepers' chances here either, because they've messed with Cypher one time too many. Adam Stallion has raised his game to a level where I think he'll be challenging for the CSW title before long, easily the Metro title, but the division title, but maybe even the main title. He's been that good. And then Hornswoggle, you know, as tough as they come and is kind of the X factor, the Tyreek Hill in the situation, if you will. Red, your thoughts?
How long before Uncle T leaves the Hate Keepers?
I hope it's soon because you know, like I said,
if you notice the crowd at CSW, he gets a totally different reaction than everybody else. And that's because the CSW fan base is starting to fall in love with Uncle T. And I think the other members of the Hate Keepers are gonna eventually they're gonna get annoyed by that. They're gonna get annoyed. Cypher, we all know is just
he's America's favorite party monster.
He is, but he's also batshit crazy.
Clearly.
So you put that Adam Stallion, I concur, has stepped his game up. And you don't know what he's gonna do. But the loose cannon in all of this is Hornswoggle. You don't know. People think he can't wrestle.
Oh, Swoggle's tough.
And
tough
he
someday.
is, dude, one of the toughest. But also, he's an opportunistic individual. And if he sees an opening, he's going to take it.
And it doesn't have to be a big opening.
No, he's not a big guy. He just needs enough space. And again, people forget that it's 3 seconds.
3 seconds.
It's 3 seconds.
Need. All right, so who's your pick?
I'm gonna pick Cypher, Swoggle, and Stein.
We are 2 for 2 in agreement. Anything on this one, Rack?
I am going to defer to Red's expertise on this one.
Smart. That's smart. Well done. The next match might be the most violent match of the night because it's personal, and there are a couple matches that could be pretty violent. This one has been building for a few months now and it's about to explode. The Metro Division champion, Ensueño, or what are they? Maybe that's wrong. El Sueño. Sorry, my eyes are not as good, and plus my internet sucks, so I'm having trouble reading. But that's a whole issue. El Sueño Iniestra, the Metro Division champion.
He gonna get his ass kicked by Miss.
Let me tell you a story. You don't piss that girl off. She is. I wouldn't want if I were in the knockouts, if I was a skater and I was skating around that ring, I would avoid Cactus Rack at all costs because there's nothing I can do that's gonna save my life in a confrontation. Even though Iniestra is one of the best in the business right now, and he rose to the occasion against Joe Alonzo at NWA. We'll talk about that in a minute. Hell hath no fury as a woman scorned, and he scored Missa Kate bad, and she's been hunting for him for months, and now she has him in a ring, and he is going to have to deal with that. I wouldn't want to have to deal with that. I don't know any man in his right mind that would want to have to deal with that. She's crazy, and she's a badass, and she will kick your face off. So could we have the first ever female Metro Division champion? Anything can happen in Franklin Park on any given Friday night. Red, your thoughts?
I agree, but I'm picking Iniestra. Here's why. Who does Iniestra roll with?
The ever enchanting Lily La Pescadita Ruiz.
No, the whole incarnation.
Oh, the brass holes. the brass holes. They've got bigger problems on that night. I think unless
they
Lily
might,
helps out in Yestra.
but understand again, does Steele want on his watch that the Metro Division title was changed and a woman, and I'm all for it if she whoops his ass and beats him, because my heart says miss her, but my brain says Steele's not gonna let that happen. He's not.
I mean,
He's not.
you might be right about that, but more than Steele, more than being part of the brass holes, he and Lily are together. And do you think Lily is going to take kindly to one of her biggest competitors whipping her old man's ass up and down the street? I mean, Missa in the promo ordered Lily like she was interrogation to get that information out of her, and Lily cracked under the pressure. Now Lily has to atone for that. Will that be what happens? I mean, it can go in many directions, Red. Who are you picking?
I told you I'm picking Anestra because I don't see this being a clear contest. I don't see it being a fair contest.
You might be
I
right
see
about that.
there will be shenanigans. Again, it's Anestra.
Yeah, they're shenanigans. All right. Since Cactus Rack is the t-shirt wearing member of the Hell Hath No Fury as a Woman Scorned Society, what say you?
I'm going to have to go off what I've heard about Mr. Steele. I did see what is the gentleman's name? I saw him at NWA.
Iniestra.
Okay. I saw him wrestle at NWA. I don't think he can win without TJ Steele's interference.
So you're picking Iniestra as well, thinking that the shenanigans.
I'm picking Missa Kate, but with the caveat that from everything I've heard about Mr. Steele,
You could be right.
it's not gonna go her way.
You could be right. I'm picking Missa because I think Missa can overcome shenanigans because she's laser focused on kicking that boy's ass. Or maybe she doesn't even care about winning. Maybe she just wants to beat him up. So that'll depend on the mood she's in and how upset she is about the situation. But we'll move on. Another interesting matchup. Let's leave it with the Hate Keepers one more moment. We have got the new arrival at CSW, the revamped Warhorse, Jake Parnell, taking on the very, very talented Rafael Quintero, who also showed up and showed out as Trevor Murdoch's partner at NWA. And it's going to be Warhorse versus Quintero. Match of the night. Have to believe it. I can't wait to see what those two do in that ring. I think it's going to be electrifying. I think you're going to see some crazy shit. But in the end, as good as the diamond in the rough is becoming, there is only one Warhorse. And the man is motivated, and he's trying to take over CSW unbeknownst to Mr. Steele, our existing GM. So I feel that it's the night belonging to the Warhorse. Red?
I concur. This is a different Parnell. So Quintero being as good as he is and is becoming, especially based off this past Friday. Jake was dangerous before.
Yeah, but
now
he's
he's
positively lethal.
Right. And now that he's aligned himself and he is the head, it's like it it's gonna take a lot more. Now, if fucking Trevor Murdoch showed up in Quintero's corner, oh yeah, I'm picking Quintero all day. But
that dude, if you stand next to him, that's a big dude.
Oh, dude, I've stood next to
That's
him.
a big cowboy right there.
Like, oh shit, Um, so I am also picking Jake Farnell.
Cactus?
I'm gonna go with Quintero.
Well, she saw him do his work at NWA and he did it well. What could be the most compelling match of Over Like Clover is the big women's scramble match with the CSW Women's Championship on the line. And this is the biggest challenge to the title reign of Shelly Bombshell Benson that she has had to this point. And this is a all-star cast of characters. You have the vicious, the deranged Amina Belmont. You have Maggie Lee, who is champion at Dreamwave, and she is riding the crest of her newfound superstardom. You have Vita Scott making her debut at CSW in this match. And then you have AEW superstar Sky Blue in this match. Sky wants her title back. Vita wants to make a name for herself in CSW. Maggie has been working tirelessly to get to this level to get in on a title match. And Amita Belmont hates everybody and the world and is insulted that she just isn't given the title. And then you have the Bombshell, who is the victim of circumstance, I guess. I mean, it's a tough ask to defend your title one-on-one, let alone 1-on-4. So pick your poison, Red. I don't know who to call on this one.
So I love your breakdown. I agree with it. Belmont, she's just a pissed off black woman.
God, is she angry? She is so mad. We're going to have her on a future episode of this show, and you will see how angry she is. But she does have the greatest accent in history.
I don't need that smoke in my life. Maggie Lee has been tearing up the scene and making a huge name for herself. So I'm very proud of her.
She's so long and athletic.
Scott, again, she's gonna come in with the jitters, but it's her debut. So if you ask me to break it down, I see the final three being Maggie, Sky, Shelly. If you ask me then, with knowing what's on the line, I'm going Shelly, Sky. From that point, I can't pick. Because as you stated, Sky wants to show her dominance.
And she wants her title back.
And I didn't get there, but there you go. She wants the belt back. And Shelly wants to show she's not a flash in the pan champion. She's not here today, gone tomorrow. And shit, Shelly impressed me in the fucking ladder match. Like, she blew my mind. So, two women that want the same thing, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's a new women's champion with Sky Blue, only because has been doing some dirty shit lately on TV. So I wouldn't be surprised if she does some dirty shit Friday night in Franklin Park.
She has beaten some of the best of the best. That wouldn't surprise me either. I think this might be Maggie's night. Shelly is putting up her title in a very chaotic situation. She doesn't have to be pinned. And I think somehow Maggie Lee asserts herself and does what she needs to do to win. I mean, certainly Sky could take control at any moment, but something tells me that it's Maggie's night. Rachel?
I think it's going to be Shelly. I think Shelly has the most to lose, and so she's not going to let. There's not going to be any. She's not going to let anything slide.
That's a great take. I mean, Shelly, if anybody could do it, Shelly can, but boy, that's a whole powder keg of dynamite right there. And notedly missing from this little scramble match, is the Devil's Little Princess, Heather Reckless. Now, she can't be in that match because she's about to be taught a lesson, joining the brass holes, running your mouth, saying stupid things. There is a comeuppance for anyone. And she decided to call the base god Gringo Loco old and talk shit to his face. So they made it a match. So Heather Reckless will be taking on Gringo Loco. Heather Reckless is fantastic at what she does. She is on the role of a lifetime. She's been on TV. She is doing everything. But Gringo Loco is one of the toughest SOBs in this business. I don't know what planet or what universe has to happen for Reckless to get a win there, but I got to pick Gringo Loco. I don't see how. I think this is a lesson to be learned by Heather Reckless, unless Red's theory of the brass holes intervening becomes part of the shenanigans.
And again, so we have to constantly remember, I'm the king of shenanigans. So, if it is a one-on-one, no interference, Gringo Loco about to whoop her ass. And not whoop her ass in the sense he's just going to beat the shit out of her. I have known Gringo for years, and he has only gotten way better. I mean, the dude is doing things in the ring that people that play video games try to emulate. The dude is a walking WWE game. Like, the shit is ridiculous. And I don't think Heather's going to be able to keep up.
But tell us how it ends, Red.
No, you know how it ends. The brass holes come out, beat his ass, match is thrown out.
Yeah.
It's either that or it's steel again, right?
Yeah.
So they interfere and Gringo's beaten down. And what happens? He tells the referee to restart the match and she pins him. Like, but she's not gonna pin Gringo.
One-on-one.
One
Rachel,
just
what
by
say
herself.
you?
I am never going to count a woman out, and you know that.
I know that.
Because Gringo Loco can be as crazy as he wants. He can be as much of a WWE game as he wants, but every time go with the women because we're crazier in every way.
And you might be right about that situation. Reckless is the craziest of the bunch. Moving on to the main event, we have Speedball Mike Bailey, the visiting dignitary, taking on the Land Shark Conan Lycan for the CSW heavyweight title. Red, tell me about the Speedball.
Shit, his name says it all. Have you ever seen the man in the ring?
I have not. This will be my first time.
The dude acts like that's what he takes right before he goes out. The dude is so quick and so fast. And I believe this will be a great competition for Lycan. Because when you're a champ, you need to test yourself against different kind of opponents.
And why not a TNA superstar?
And why not? But Mike Bailey is a very wonderful athlete, very skilled, very technical. But for me, he amazes me with his damn speed. Like, shit. Like, slow the fuck down because you're going to kill yourself. I personally, I'm going to pick Lycan. And I'm also still going to call shenanigans.
Red is all about shenanigans tonight, as he is most days of the week. I too
Just
think Lycan is
only because the hate keepers,
are trying to send a message.
they want to prove to him that he's nothing without them. That's it.
You might be right. Cactus, what's your take on the championship match? I'm picking Lycan because I think right now he might be the best that CSW has to offer. That's not a knock on the speedball Mike Bailey. He's a TNA superstar for a reason. But pound for pound, muscle for muscle, move for move, Lycan is on a whole different level than most folks right now. So my pick is Lycan. What about you?
Steve, I will defer to your expertise.
I don't know if I have any expertise, but I appreciate your support. There was one match added about an hour ago on social media, and it's the match that everybody wanted to see last month but couldn't because of an injury. So CSW is finally going to get their GPA Laney Luck versus Joey and Sierra. The bad blood is obvious. I went all the way to Freelance to see it, and it was a hell of a match. The winners of this match are the CSW crowd to watch these four spectacular athletes at the top of their games do their craft under our roof. I don't like GPA and Laney for personal reasons because they called our building a barn and our fans animals. So I've got animosity, and I am a staunch supporter of Jet and Sierra. So I think that our tag team champions remain our tag team champions, Red.
I love everybody in this match. That's just my personal. Avalon is going to walk the dog shit out of GPA.
That's an understatement.
I mean, Steve knows better than anybody. When you piss off Joey, like, not only do you piss Joey off, but you piss off Sierra. And we have seen, especially through CSW history, when they are pissed off, oh my God, like, just sit back, eat your popcorn, because the shovel's gonna come out. Somebody's gonna get their ass. But here's the problem: GPA and Laney are coming to Franklin Park. Home court advantage, baby.
Yeah.
Home court advantage.
It's not Freelance versus CSW. It's simply four people that don't like each other very much going to be in a match, and it's going to be great.
It don't have to be. It don't have to be company versus company. But again, I'm not. I put my paycheck on Joey and Sierra.
Over Like Clover is going to be something special this Friday night in Franklin Park. Come and check it out. It's going to be wonderful. And we got all that done just in the nick of time.
You don't want my opinion on this one?
Oh, I'm sorry. Real quick. What's your opinion, Cactus?
Rude. I am an unapologetic Sierra stan, and honestly, I don't see it going any other way than them winning. They work so well together. Laney and GPA don't have a chance.
You might be right about that. And that is how we feel about Over Like Clover. Joining us right now, however, is our special guest star tonight. We are hoping that he engages his video viewing device so we can see his there he is. Look at that face. That is a face that we all love. Welcome back to the program, the one, the only Bulletproof Ben McCoy. Hello, Ben.
Jeez, that's such a huge intro every time. I always feel like I'm never gonna live up to it. There's always like that big like crescendo at the end when you do that, and I'm like, oh no,
Ben,
there's no, and then it's just me.
Always live up to that, and you're just getting better. At one point at the last show, you had like 3 matches in one event, I thought. And I'm like, how the hell is Ben gonna fight 3 fights in one event?
By going in the ring and completely calling it on the fly. That's how that night worked out. Which is fun. I rarely do it to begin with, so to to tag with Andy and to do that tag series that we did for the Luck of the Draw tournament in February was pretty awesome. Just because it's a different animal when you're in there and you're just trying to create magic off the top of your head compared to kind of having somewhat of a plan. It was a good experience, I thought, and with the exception of the injury bug that night, I thought the rest of the night went swimmingly. So
It was like the last 10 minutes of the show, it was injury after injury, and I watched Ben grow older and older with each reported injury.
it was we had one in the first round, two in the semis, and then one in the finals. And we just couldn't catch a break. Oh, and then we had the one in the battle championship match. So like we really couldn't catch a break. So
I thought, speaking of catching a break, I thought EJ Swanson, I thought his leg came off of the kneecap. I thought he was dead. That was ugly.
That kid, you want to talk about heart. He's hurt. He's in the ring. I'm in the ring with him when it happens. And the first thing he says to me is, "Don't stop the match." And I say, and like it's just like he wasn't like that kid's leg could have been completely amputated, and he would have been like, "Look, we're finishing." So that's just a different. He's just such a good kid. So that's just a really. It makes you appreciative that people are willing to put their body on the line like that for you. Especially for what we're trying to do in Frontline. So.
And I saw Andy and his injury, and that was not a pretty picture either. The stairs. Andy
he looked right.
Flight of stairs.
He looked right at me when he went to pick up Mike. And Mike's not a small guy. I mean, for those who don't know, Michael Wayne, Wisconsin. Mike's not a small guy. He's about 260, 270 pounds.
That's who it was?
Yeah, and when you go to pick up the second biggest guy on the entire roster, and your ankle just goes no.
It basically, we heard it say no. We actually heard that on commentary.
I was right there on the tag apron and watching him, and it was gnarly. He got through it though. Luckily, it kind of happened in a spot where we could take it home, kind of a thing. But we got through it, and now it's just now finally everyone's healed. We can report that we have a clear bill of health for all the competitors now. We're going to give Andy another month with the ankle, but other than that, we're pretty much ready to go here. So,
Ben, it's the 6th anniversary of this baby of yours, Frontline Pro Wrestling. 6 years in the wrestling business as a promotion and as a non-for-profit to boot. It just doesn't happen very often. How excited are you that you've made it this far?
Oh man, you got to remember this was all just supposed to be a one-off. This was
right.
We lost one of my buddies to unfortunately post-traumatic stress disorder, and we just wanted to do something good for his family, for his widow and his mom, and in their memorial foundation that they had for him. And to go from that to now, here we are, and it's 6 years later, and we're going to have our 50th show next month for Honor Bound. Honor Bound is the 50th show, and the anniversary show is the 49th. And just to think about the fact that we've done all those things and been able to work with so many different people, it just feels like it really does feel like a book with chapters. And it's kind of like you think about those first years, and we had so many great guys in the first years that never get enough due nowadays. But there was guys like Colin Brooks and Adam Grace and Logan Lynch and and Jay Cash, and there's just a lot of guys back then that Shane Hills and others that kind of came in and helped us make our show what it was and do. And then to transition from that to getting the rough crossings and guys like that to come into Vic Capri's and to really get kind of the best that Illinois has to offer, and some of these amazing vets that you never thought you'd get, to now the newer roster, which is all these young guys, your Kid Lats, your Disco Rays, your Bros, your Adonis Allens, who are kind of it's kind of like EJ Swansons. All these guys are coming out of the woodwork, and it's a really interesting time because everybody is jockeying for position so hard, and yet at the same time it's done in a very oriented team mentality, where everybody really wants to have the most harmonious of outcomes for everyone. Steve can attest to this. I preach at every pre-show meeting that everybody goes together. If we're all going to go, everybody, if one person's going to go up tonight, everyone's going up with them. We're not going to have people get left behind, because it's all about growing together and kind of finding that fine minutia of talent and creativity. So,
Hoorah!
That is 100%. Red, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No.
yeah,
Did you just say
He
hoorah?
He understands. He
It's on me.
understands.
It's on me. I didn't hear the whole thing.
He
It's
understands.
damn internet service. Xfinity sucks and all that stuff. But
You
that's
never leave a man
that's a topic
behind.
for
You
another
never leave
time.
a man behind.
Ben,
I want to say congratulations.
well, thank you.
Some of me personally, some of the best companies start off as one-offs. A lot of people don't know CSW started as a one-off. Frontline started out as a one-off. And there's a reason why both of your companies right now, Steve's with CSW and you with Frontline, why both companies is in everybody's mouths, because you didn't come in with the idea of, I'm going to get a ring and I'm going to get these guys I know, and every month we're going to sell out. And like, you didn't do that. And your heart kind of told the story. Your heart kind of put it out there. And everybody knew why you did the first show. But then you had all these people that wanted more. Why? Because your heart was in the right place. And people don't see all the wonderful things that Frontline does to help. I can say it, people like me, and I mean that in the veteran stance. A lot of days I feel like I'm forgotten about because all of the things that are on the table now for veterans 20-something years ago, no, whatever, many moons ago, that wasn't on the table. You got your final check, you got an airplane ticket, see you later, take care, and that's it. And then you have to try to figure out this thing called civilian life all over again with added on problems. I've told you this before, and I'll tell you again. I love that you have, and you've been in my boots, literally. So thank you for sticking up for us. Thank you for trying to help us. It's one of those things where if one of our own don't help us, clearly ain't nobody else gonna give a damn. So I personally hope you get the recognition and credit that you deserve on a global scale, only because you didn't have to. You didn't have to.
I appreciate that, Red. Thank you very much. No, I was very lucky. I think, the good thing for me was getting out allowed me to go back to pro wrestling. I think pro wrestling being there for me when I got out was huge, because I think if you ask any military veteran, the thing they miss the most is the brotherhood. It's just, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like knowing that the guy to your right is willing to die for you. You can't explain it to civilians. I've always tried, and it's just incredibly hard. It's literally like saying, do you have a brother? Do you have a sister? Do you have do you have a sibling? Because when you are, 174 days into a tour and you've been shot at 105 times and you got the same dudes next to you for all the 174 of those days, there's there's a camaraderie that gets built that it's just different. It's different with just everything, especially with being deployed and stuff. You're living in a different complete world with no safety net, and to come back here and have all of the amenities and have the civilian life is very, I think, for a lot of us veterans, challenging, simply because let's be honest, life in general is really loose as an adult. It's not, it's kind of whatever you make it, and in the military, everything's extremely structured. You have a bedtime, you have a wake up time, you have a breakfast time, you have a lunch time, you have a dinner. Everything is meticulously mapped out. And it's hard to lose that. And I think that's why we lose so many veterans. I think you go from the job with the ultimate stability back into the civilian world, and that is such a jarring loss that I think a lot of guys can't cope, simply because it's hard. The greatest uniform I ever put on was that one, and to have that, I don't want to say taken away, but to have that no longer be a possibility is hard. And luckily for, like I said, wrestling is in a really weird way a segue into that brotherhood of the military, where it's very kind of running on a parallel line right next to it. So luckily for us, we have that, and that's why we always preach family first, and Frontline is family at our Frontline shows, because you have to work that hard in the company to get on board with what we're all trying to do, which is, create something different. And I think, in a day of an age where pro wrestling is as hot as it's ever been in a long time, there's a lot of people that do a lot of recycled pro wrestling. They get very complacent and here's your third month in a row with, some sort of gimmick match. Last month it was a ladder. Next month and while diversity is great, having the same, not to be offensive to anybody, but having the same 5 to 6 guys main eventing your shows for 2 years kind of puts a lull into the crowd. Whereas, now and it's been that way for a few years, but if you look now in the last few months, even, it's been a rapid change recently with a lot of companies where I don't want to say it's a youth movement, but it definitely feels almost like an NFL free agency period where everybody's kind of, twisting the dials and turning things to try and find the right exact grouping of talents. So it's an interesting time to be in pro wrestling.
100%. And I was able to do a handful of Frontline shows last year, and I remember sitting there a night for Tyler, and I just the whole scope of what was happening, it brought you to tears watching everything happen around you, not just the wrestling, the human part of it. And I knew at that moment that I was going to commit going forward to this company because I believed in what they were doing. And I've been blessed to have many opportunities. It's a blessing, it really is. But I had to narrow where I was working because I got tired of working in crummy locker rooms. So I kind of nipped and clipped and got it down to the locker rooms that really made sense and really made me feel comfortable. And, after a year where I had done 7 to 8 promotions, I am down to 3 to 4 because I want to be in a place where everybody pushes in the same direction. And that is the greatest compliment I can give Frontline Pro. Last year, I did a couple of shows. This year, I'm doing 10 out of 12. So, I'm vested in driving 5 hours. And they're like,
Yeah.
why would you drive 5 hours to work? And I'm like, it's worth every mile that I drive because the people there are so together as a family that it makes you want to do well. And, being dumped into Crossfire and having that thing exploding on the premier streaming network. I mean, that was a nice byproduct for me. It's great for me because people all over the world are hearing my voice. But the point and what drew me to this promotion is the charisma of Ben and his ideas and the way he puts things down. It makes me excited. And the way they do things at Frontline is incredibly different than the norm. So I'll drive 5 hours to do this because it's a passion project for me. The knockouts, I work for the roller derby as well. It's a passion project. I go there and I'm in awe of the people that are there, just like I am at Frontline. And that's what I want right now in my life in these businesses, is to go to a place where the people and the characters and the fans and everybody involved is so breathtaking and spectacular that it leaves you breathless by the end. By the time a Frontline show is over, I have to sit back for 10 minutes and catch my breath and catch my bearings, because we leave it all on the floor every time. And, you know, certainly visits to the Quick Trip have become very important to me. There are my two wrestling sons, Mark and Andrew, in one of our jaunts to the Quick Trip. But
Do you
that's,
have a Quick Trip rewards card?
I have to
I
get
do.
one because it's
I
important.
Good, good.
They're totally worth it.
It's moments like that picture that make me drive 5 hours on a Saturday
Yeah.
after working all week, because I love these people. I love them with my whole heart, even though I haven't known half of them for more than a few shows. But I am all in, completely invested 100% in the product, because Ben makes you invested. And that's a tribute to you, because I've worked in a lot of locker rooms, and your locker room, my friend, is aces. Like you said earlier.
Oh no, I appreciate that very much. We're very lucky. Like I said, we did a lot of working over the last 2 years to really kind of cultivate the roster we have, and we're still not done. You know, there's still a lot to work out, and you know, like we've always talked about, you and I specifically have had, you know, one-on-one individual calls about this. But you know, the reason we're different is we're trying to do Dusty Rhodes. You know, like that's really what it is. We're trying to make movies. You know, that's what he always says. We're making movies, baby. So that's what we want. We want to bring you into this world where, you know, I found, you know, as a child was such a huge thing when you could turn on the TV and it was Hulk Hogan and the Big Boss Man and Earthquake and Macho Man and Andre the Giant and Bobby the Brain Heenan, and you know, just the who's who of the 80s and 90s. And Frontline really tries to emulate that, but with almost like a new age type of flair, where we're really trying to put the wrestling over and kind of, you know, really pay tribute to the workhorse styles of Bret Hart and Kurt Angle and Shawn Michaels and guys like that. While at the same time having characters that are larger than life, kind of like your Mick Foley guys and things like that, with your Hot Rod Daddy Andes, with your Kid Lats, with your Disco Rays, with your very colorful and over the phenomenal athletes, and can really go and have been, you know, excellently trained. You know, hats off to Wrestle League for the training of a lot of those guys, and especially Chris Logan, because I know Chris just works, you know, hand in hand with so many of them. But there's just you know, we're just so lucky to be where we're at. And in the last 6 years has really kind of been you know, as we've talked about, kind of a march, this long, slow march to kind of get to the promised land. And the promised land has always been to find a home. And while the first few years we were very proud to be PT Barnum, we wanted to travel, we wanted to get to different cities. You know, when you get to city 27 and city 28, it's kind of like, does it matter anymore? Like, you know, like, do you really care? I mean, you do, but like, it doesn't mean what it did when it was like, you know, city 7, city 9, you know, like that kind of like build, you know, it's kind of like you get to the mountain top so often, it's, you know, just kind of like you want to have something else. And so, you know, we've been very lucky to be working with Bakerville Bar and Grill up in Marshfield, to work on a stable home for Frontline, which we've wanted for years. And proudly,
They want to invest in you. They
Yes.
love you as much as you love them, and they want to invest in you.
Tyler and his team are phenomenal people. We've never worked with anyone that has been more invested in Frontline Pro or what we want to do. Proudly we can say we have a 18-month deal with them to be our full-time home. We'll be there in May, and then in June we have a few. We have battle lines, battle tested, so we have to commit to that and fulfill our commitment there. But then starting in July, going to the beginning of 2026, it's all Bakerville every month. And we really want to build our own sportatorium, and I know that's a huge thing to say because that's but if you don't think of like wanting that, you're never going to even come close to it. So if the goal is that and we only get halfway, that's still a lot better than most people that would ever even begin to try. So, with having a stable home now and being able to bring more value and having more investment into the company, we're able to bring things that we've never been able to bring before. And, I promised you earlier that I have goodies and surprises and things for today. Come to your show empty. If I ever didn't bring a scoop for C.Red, I'm pretty sure he'd never forgive me and be like, man, you came on my show and you didn't even give me an exclusive, nothing.
Oh,
and I'd be like,
he's going to blow your doors off, Red. He is going to blow your doors off. You're going to be asking me for a ride to Marshfield.
Maybe so, hopefully. But let's talk about just a couple of frontline things. One is the scheduling for what we're going to do for the rest of the year, which is insane. We have our Call to Arms show here this Saturday, which is our 6-year anniversary show. Shaq Jordan defends the title against Michael Wayne. And that's going to be huge. Again, Shaq Jordan, it's kind of funny. He wins the title against a guy like Quinn Whittick, and then the first two guys he's got to take on are 200-300 pounders. So it's a very stark contrast for Shaq to try to adjust to. And that'll be huge. Paragon's going to defend the battle championship. The Bros defend against this Windy City Devil team that apparently Crystal has booked. The magistrate has booked this. I don't know who they are. I don't have anything about anything. All I know is that somehow they sweet talked her into a match with the Bros. The Bros are just cool dudes and are like, oh, we'll fight anybody, man. And then leave and make a peanut butter and banana sandwich with Fruity Pebbles and then come back and ask me if I want some. And I'm like, no, put that away. Also, why are you in my kitchen? But that's the Bros. But
that's why we love them.
Coming up here in Marshall. But the other thing that I want to talk about with that is we're very lucky to announce that we're going to be working with the Special Olympics for this Saturday. We have 20 wonderful Special Olympians coming to our show to be our special guests. They're 2 full-on basketball teams that are going to come and enjoy our product. And we're very excited to have them. We're going to try and help them out a little bit and see what we can do with them. And then we're also going to be raising funds for the American Legion in Marshfield. A great organization, good dudes. They're coming and doing colors for us at the event. This event is actually not at Bakerville. This one is at the Marshfield Oak Avenue Community Center, which is not Oak Creek, which is where Honor Bound is. They're different. But Oak Avenue is in Marshfield. We had Freedom Cup there a few years back. It's a wonderful venue. It's right there in town. A lot of people will be able to easily find it. And then from there, we go to Honor Bound, which is going to be mind-blowing. We have so many things coming. EC3 is World Championship, the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship, the 10 pounds of gold against a local Wisconsin wrestler or anyone that's willing to take up the challenge in Milwaukee or anywhere else. So it's a very Rocky scenario where Apollo's kind of giving Rocky the shot. So we'll see who steps up, and that's going to be exciting. But I have some exclusive matches that we haven't announced before.
Pay attention, Red. Pay attention.
So Shaq Jordan is your boy, Red. I know you love him. I know that's one of your new games that you like a lot.
That's my nephew.
Shaq Jordan will defend the world's heavyweight champion as long as he can get through Michael Wayne. But it's been signed that Shaq Jordan will go one-on-one in Frontline Pro for the very first time ever with OVW's own Ragnar the Ruthless for the Frontline Pro World Heavyweight Championship. This is Ragnar the Ruthless' first ever heavyweight championship match in Frontline Pro. He had his very first match ever with us, and I think he's going to give Shaq quite possibly the biggest fight of his whole run. However long this run comes, this is going to be a match where, while I expect Shaq to obviously show up and be Shaq and be the generational treasure that he is, this is going to take a little bit of time off of the career. I've wrestled that kid. Ragnar is not a slouch. That is a very angry man that likes to commit gratuitous violence to the maximum levels that are allowed within the confines of the rules of professional wrestling. And I think Shaq Jordan's going to have a really hard time with him. But again, you never know. I mean, Shaq, whoever thought that Shaq would end Quinn? I mean, while we all thought Shaq was going to be a hell of a challenge, a lot of us had him as the underdog. Now Shaq tries to avert the underdog and tries to become the favorite. On top of that, we have Rich Holiday from GCW coming in, and we decided we wanted to do something special there, do something big. Why not give him one of the biggest hitters that we have? So Rich Holiday is going to go one-on-one with TW3, also from OVW.
OVW in the house at Honor Bound.
Wow.
Yes,
All my nephews is and the uncle ain't there.
I got an empty seat in the car, Red.
Yeah, Red, you're gonna have to
Come
come
on
up.
I
So
can't. I have to do Special Olympics to that.
and that's totally fine. But on top of that, we have Coda Jacobs going one-on-one with his mentor and trainer, Mr. Anderson. And I'm super excited for that because I'm just excited because they both agreed to send in promos. And I just can't wait to see what Ken has to say and what Coda has to say because, while Coda is the biggest loudmouth in Frontline Pro,
100%.
for his mouth. It's literally kind of his calling card. So it's going to be really interesting to see what they do there. I'm excited for that one. And then one of them that I'm super excited about to announce here, one of the super exclusives, and there's two more. There's two more, and then the rest of them I got to save for you. But one of them is myself and Nathan Gust has been approved to be non-sanctioned. Frontline Pro won't sanction us.
That escalated quickly at the end of the last show.
Okay, so I knew this was going to come up, and you and I will have an interview sit down another time to talk all about it. But I'll tell you this right now, and we'll just cut it to the quick. I walked right into his company. I challenged him to a fight. I DDT'd his best friend. Nothing. Radio silence for a month. All of a sudden, we get to the end of the Call of Arms. I wrestle 3 matches in one night with my hurt partner, and we wind up winning the thing. And then the next thing I know, while I'm getting ready to, use my opportunity to cash in to get what I deserve, which is the World's Heavyweight Championship, the one thing I haven't gotten in Frontline, Nathan Gust just decides to fly up from Orlando, Florida, and walk right through the back door by being let in by his sneaky little fat friend, Michael Wayne, who then ducks me for a match last weekend because, I don't know, whatever troubles. Apparently he had, downstairs hygiene problems. I don't know. But the bottom line is he wasn't ready to go. And therefore, I'm getting ducked. Now I got to fight Michael Jarrett, the stupid best friend that I DDT'd in the first place, who somehow thinks he has some claim to come into Frontline Pro, which is going to get handled here on Saturday. And then it comes to Nathan. And the problem with Nathan is simple. Nathan left and didn't honor the time-honored tradition of professional wrestling that guys like Red have drilled into our heads. Red's generation, the generation that taught Red, you do the right thing on the way out. That's the business. You do it, you don't complain, get uppity, and you don't have an ego about it. You do the right thing, you do business, and then you leave. Nathan, for some reason, thinks he's special and can just leave. And for someone like me, who considers himself a statesman of professional wrestling, and a guy who considers himself as someone who represents guys like C.Red and guys from that generation, that's unacceptable to people like us. You do the time-honored tradition, you do the right thing on the way out of town, and then you can go. You don't just get to leave and take your flowers and eat your cake and chew, and you don't get to get all of it. And so he needs to be taught a lesson, and that'll just get dealt with at Honor Bound, and then from there on, we'll keep moving. But for Frontline, after Honor Bound, it gets crazier because we go to the All Ladder match show called Climb to Glory in May, followed by our crossover event in June, followed by July, where everything starts going Costa Rica because we start our full-on run with Bakerville. Ready for the big news? Here's some more. July, we will have Colt Cabana, as well as Swoggle from WWE, as well as we will debut for the first time ever female wrestlers in a featured matchup on Frontline Pro, which we haven't done in years, not since the days of bringing in Melanie Cruz and Missa Kate. We want to get back into bringing more diverse action to the crowds. We've always wanted to find a way to do it, but do it a way that's different. It's hard to try to re-envision female wrestling when everybody's trying to do the most cutting edge thing with it, right? So we wanted to wait and find a way to find a different angle to bring female wrestling to an audience where not only can the females wrestle each other, but can also wrestle the males, and everyone can have, it's about competition. It's about, it doesn't matter what gender you are. If you have a knockout kick that can knock out anybody, I don't care if you're a guy or a girl, if it knocks them out, that person deserves to get in the ring and get a chance to knock somebody out, in my opinion. That's the way I see it. So from there, we go to August, and in August, everybody get on board the Ho train because the Godfather's rolling in, and we'll be excited to have him, and he'll be our featured guest there. September, we go to Night for Tyler, which is Night for Tyler 7, our longest running event. Followed by, yes, it's so funny that the Godfather show is called Hold the Line, like hold the train line to get on the train, like hold the tickets. It's just really worked out well. But then we go to Night for Tyler, and Night for Tyler is the big one for me. That's going to be the biggest match of my career, in my opinion. I'm going 60 minutes. I don't know who my opponent is, but it's going to be a 60-minute Ironman match, and anybody who wants to sign on the dotted line better start training time now, because it's going to be 60 minutes, and I'm not stopping. So whoever's going to take that up is better get everything in order. And then after that, we go to October, which we get to see our great friend Merle, who everybody loves, Merle the ring guy, as Merle's going to bring his 15-foot high steel cage for us in order to have our steel cage event on October 26th, as well as our Halloween crossover that we are working on making not just entertaining, but, to hint, very fun and very evil. So we are hoping to make something extra happen there. And then November comes, and this is the one we've been working on. I have the contract now, so I can tell you, Steve, we can debut it right here. So this is cool. Everything's all set and done. But we're very excited that this year at Freedom Cup, we will have a special Master of Ceremonies to come and be part of our event, as Olympic gold medalist and WWE Hall of Famer Kurt Angle will be coming to Frontline Pro on November 16th, Veterans Day weekend, to share with us his time for the Freedom Cup event. And then we go to December, where we wrap everything up for the year, and then we're off to 2025. So that's just that stuff. Now, on top of that, Red, I know you're like, oh, that's a lot of cool information, but you like to see things, Red. I know you do. You like pretty things, and that's okay. Of style and talent and taste. And therefore, I decided I should, up the ante just a tiny bit, because these have never been actually seen like on video.
This is big shit, right here.
So for the first time ever,
oh boy,
I give to you the brand new commissioned Frontline Pro Battle Championship title that has never been seen quite yet.
Look at that belt.
Wow.
Oh yeah. That's
gorgeous.
I literally debated this all the way up until we did this. Like, no, I got to do it for Red. He's got to get the extra. So here is our brand new commissioned Frontline Pro Battle Championship. We're super excited.
Love it.
This will be presented this Saturday to our champion Paragon. And then on top of that, I didn't forget about your nephew, because I know he's your nephew.
But so wait, there's more.
He requested the strap to be black, so we obliged him. The Frontline Pro World.
Oh my God! Look at that belt!
Wow.
Or the one Shaq Jordan. We are super excited. They all turned out absolutely wonderful. We went with a little bit of a different cut for this title compared to the old one. We went a little more circular, and we went with the old 1987 Andre the Giant title, which was silver background with gold top for the medal layout. Excited about that. And we're happy to say that we will be commissioning all new titles this year. The Intrepid title is on the way, and the Tag Team Championships will also be redone, which will bring us into a whole new kind of age of Frontline Pro as far as uh, our our championships go, and just as far as upping the ante. We've also been working on, making multiple updates to everything. The ring has new ring posts. We have new boards. We have new ropes coming. So we're updating that. New canvas is coming with sponsorship logos, which is really cool. We're going to have actually sponsored tag team corners for the first time ever, where the sponsorship logo is on the tag team corners, so guys know where to stand for tag team corners. It's printed. Which is, we're just trying to be a little different, little UFC-ish with our printing on our canvases. And from there, we just got our first episode of season 2 of Crossfire delivered from Christian yesterday. So we're super excited. Season 2 starts really soon. We have one episode from last year that didn't get filmed, or not filmed, but didn't get viewed. And we also have the Freedom Cup from last year, where Shaq Jordan claimed the championship, or excuse me, claimed the Freedom Cup to get to the championship. And we will have all of that, as well as 8 new episodes of Crossfire ready to go, as Premier Streaming, or now Premier Wrestling Network, relaunches at the end of this month. We can announce, yes, here in the very beginning of April, we will be back up and running. And guess what? Premier did something even better. It's completely free. You don't got to pay a dime to sign up. It's $1,000. We still get our residual. They still help us out. We still help them out. We still deliver content. We still have a platform. But now it is free for everyone who wants to have it. There's no reason you can't tell your friends, your mom, your uncle, your dogs, friends, dad, whoever you want to talk to. But definitely a great thing for us there. Paul and Jernoff and the guys, a different style to everything. We got to see a few things of what they're changing, and it's exciting stuff. We're really jazzed about where we're going next. And yeah, then it's just kind of, like I said, it's always been about the drive for 25. Once we get through this year, it's kind of that's where we're really going to see the true potential of Frontline Pro, in my opinion, is next year. I think this year is kind of the final touches of working and finding the very last pieces of the puzzle. And then next year is kind of like the championship run, in my opinion. And that's saying something, considering the lineup we just announced this year. But next year's lineup, I guarantee you, will be bigger than this year's lineup. That's no doubt. So yeah, I've rambled. Thank you.
Well, ramble. That's the best kind of ramble, because you have showcased not only why Frontline is so great right now, but why it's going to get greater, better, and it's off the hook in 25. And the Premier Wrestling Network, or that name, has done so much good for Frontline Pro. I just saw an announcement on social media about the amount of volume that they've had. Speak a little bit about that, Ben.
Yep, over 1 million minutes. They just did over 1 million minutes last month alone. Viewed on their content through the YouTube. That's through the YouTube access. Now imagine what they have when they have their own service back up and running, when it's free, just like YouTube. I mean, it's going to be incredible, especially with the layout and designs that Paul Owen is known for. That's a guy who worked on the WWE Network. That's a guy who worked for the UFC and did UFC Plus. I mean, they know their stuff inside and out. It is literally one of the tightest ran ships. I mean, I have never called with a question and not gotten an answer. So that's the best you can ask for.
And they love Crossfire.
Luckily for us, yes. It'd be really terrible if they were like, this just isn't good.
Well, that's because Crossfire is great. I'm biased, certainly, but Crossfire is fantastic.
I've really enjoyed writing it. It's been such an undertaking with season 1. Luckily for us, season 2 is much easier. I think once you roll through the first season of beta testing and figuring out how the editing schedule is going to go, how the filming schedule is going to go, the writing sessions, and I've been just so lucky. There is a treasure trove of people that I call and bounce ideas off of. There's people that don't even work for the company that I'll call and just ask. And luckily for us, it's turned into this wonderful story where we have a really great growing cast of characters. I think there's a little bit of something for everyone. Whether you want to get dark and gothic and twisted, you can go to Muggsy James and Pestilence and AJ Abrams. If you want happy-go-lucky and fun times, you got Kid Latin, the big guy, and the hot rod that'll quench your thirst. If you want, tough grit, hard-nosed wrestling, you got guys like myself and Jared Jackson, Quinn Whittick, and Shaq Jordan. And then, you like I said, you just get that wonderful mix of everyone: technicians, big guys, quick speedsters, everything in between. And we're super excited because this has just been such a wonderful learning experience, and for us to be able to convey, our kind of like wild imagination to a crowd through what we're doing, and to have, we're also lucky to have you, Steve. If we're going to give me my flowers, we got to give you yours a little bit. It's hard to find the soundtrack to your company. It's not an easy thing. You have to find someone that fits exactly the billfold of what you're presenting. And from the jump on episode 1, and I've always told them this, and if I haven't told you lately, I'll tell you it again. We had a thing where all we were going to do was the first scene we ever filmed sold me on Steve forever. And he wasn't even there for it.
I wasn't even there for it.
By myself with Christian, and it's simply, I drive in with my truck and I get out and I walk into the building, and that's all it's supposed to be. And we do this wonderful thing where Christian does this overlay of music. It's almost just kind of like like the steel cages coming down for WWE, where it's like dun 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 dun, but it's very low and an ambient in the background. And all of a sudden you just hear Steve come on like a house of fire. And it's just, it makes me laugh because it reminds me of the old 1950s DJs from the Hollywood days. It's like, we're running traffic on the 405 freeway. It felt like one of those, because he just comes in and he's like, he's a man walking with purpose. Crossfire's coming in hot. And he just, coming in hot has now become, almost your tagline, which is just hilarious and awesome at the same time, because it wasn't anything we ever intentionally tried to do, but he did the voiceover for it. And I remember calling Christian back and being like, is that what he sounds like all the time? Because you have to remember, the first day you were there, we barely saw each other. We almost never, I was running around with my head cut off doing 9 other things. And I heard just a few snippets of you and was like, oh yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. And Christian sent me the first episode, and this is like, you're listening to this guy, and it's like, it's just, you can't help but get excited. Like, yeah, he's totally going to do that. That guy said so. And like, that stuff, go get him. Like, it's really fun to have a soundtrack guy like you, and then you with Chris, has been a fun working relationship as you guys grow together as a team. Yeah. I thought Aaron came in and did a great job for a couple of shows. And just,
I shouldn't say this publicly,
no.
but I do enjoy, as much as I hate watching him wrestle, I did enjoy my time on commentary with Aaron Arsenal. Draven Striker, not so much, but Aaron Arsenal was very good to work with, very fun.
Absolutely. Aaron's a great talent. Just all you got to do is get your head out of your butt. Other than else will work out great. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the gist of just about all of it. And then for what I got for you guys as far as what we're doing right now, it's the grind, as Steve knows. It's the grind. We get through this month, and then it's Honor Bound, and then that's the big shindig. And then everybody takes a breath for like 3 weeks, and then we head over to Marshfield, and we're all going to be a bunch of idiots and climb ladders. And because why not? That's would be the next thing. Of course, what's the next thing you do after a super show? You go climb ladders and try to kill each other.
That's it.
Yeah, but to be fair, the one thing I also want to add with Bakerville, they've been so amazing working with us. Steve, you had talked about the investment that they've given us. I mean, we're now running as a live commercial on ABC up in the central part of Wisconsin.
Oh, we had the anchor. The anchor was there at one of the last shows.
Channel 7 came in. Great dude. We've also been able to work with Brad Hansen out there at News Channel 9. Tyler from Bakerville and the people there believe in us, want us to really, like we have other plans. Man, we're talking about expanding spaces. We're talking about bringing in bigger things. There's a lot to this what we're gonna do, but I'm really excited to see where the next 3 years go. I think that we could be something, and this isn't to knock anybody else in pro wrestling. I think everybody that's doing stuff that's good is doing great stuff. I'm super big fans of, especially CSW. I love what Jason is doing there. Oh, hey, there you go. How about that? There's your last one. Jason Hades, Frontline Pro.
What the what?
What?
Why is that happening? Holy
Oh,
shit!
how about Honor Bound, and let's have him wrestle his old nemesis from the mid 2000s, my best friend Justin Dredd.
Get the well.
Wow.
All right, fuck you. You just popped me. I'm done. That's the end for me.
Oh, but wait, I didn't want just Jason Hades. I told him he had to bring something a little extra. So I think instead we're just gonna go with Jason XIX instead.
Oh
So,
no, not Hades X1X. That guy almost killed me.
yes. So Steve, we'll have to put bodyguard people around you
Ugh.
and make sure that you're not, maliciously harmed. But yeah, that's the I figured I'd throw that one out at the end there, I guess. But yeah,
I love it.
To his credit, one of my favorite opponents ever is Jason Hades. There was a division a long time ago where myself, Justin Dredd, Jason Hades, Troy Walters, Esteban Molina, Bobby Valentino, and a few others in ICW Milwaukee back in the day. This was probably 10 years ago, 15 years ago. It was one of my favorite divisions. Those are some of my closest brothers. And I can remember Jason driving to Spencer in my hometown and wrestling with us. And he drove so long and he worked a shift and he was just so tired. And I've never told this story. But I couldn't help it. I felt so bad because we drew terrible. It was a small, we didn't know what we were doing. We're all young guys trying to figure out how to run a wrestling show. None of us really knew what the hell was going on. If dysfunction isn't there, we have no no bearing of what we're doing at the time. But I felt so bad for him because Jason had done so much that I literally gave him my payday, out of my pocket. It was just I had no heart to keep it because I had done nothing. I think I did some crappy tag match with my brother. We just screwed around for 10 minutes and just said, screw it. And Jason goes out there and tries to have this masterclass wrestling match in front of 29 people. And and I think that's one of the things I always love about him the most is there's just not many people like him that have a passion for this the way that he does. And always was the guy I wanted to chase. When I was young, when we first broke in back 2006, 2007, that was, Mike Flannery too. I working with those guys down in MSPW in Diamond, Illinois, for Vance and Steve Stone, with some of my fondest memories with Jason. He was excellent, and we're super excited to have him. Never had him before. I didn't even think he'd say yes. When he said yes, I was like, oh my God. And I was like, okay, confirmed. It's one of those things where you don't let them change their mind before they can think about what they just said to you. So,
I am gonna give him so much shit on Friday. You're coming to Wisconsin. You didn't fucking tell me.
Nothing at all. Nope. But we're excited, and like I said, we had the EC3 promo drop today. We have more Honor Bound promos dropping this week. We have more Honor Bound match graphics dropping this week. We have more Call to Arms promos coming out this week, and tickets for Honor Bound go on sale here on Thursday, so people can start getting their tickets on our Honor Bound through Eventbrite. We'll put an event page up here Thursday, the 14th. It is the 14th, right, Steve? Did I do that right?
Yep.
Okay. The 14th, and then they can get their tickets there. We'll have specialty tickets for front row, second row tickets as well. And we're gonna that's just about it, man. Other than that, just making phone calls and trying to make moves. So
it's amazing. It just seems like every time you told another story, you broke more exciting news. And I as much as I love the Godfathers and the Kurt Angles and all of those things. And I was popping for all of it, but the biggest one for me is Hades coming to Wisconsin. that means the world to me because it's like two of my worlds are coming together. And if it wasn't for Marche Rocket, Hades, and the people on this panel, I would have gotten out of wrestling about 3 years ago.
Well,
Yeah.
if I had missed you, that would have sucked.
Yeah, so they if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be on the ride of a lifetime. So I owe a lot to all of them. I certainly owe a lot to you as well, but the fact that Hades and Ben McCoy in the same place at the same time, it's like the fucking multiverse just exploded.
And it's crazy too because it is, but it isn't because like we once upon a time we were in the same story and grouping together, and then now we don't. But he's done such amazing stuff. I'm just proud of him as a human being. He's just very few people in this business, as you guys can attest to, are good humans as well as good wrestlers. Normally, unfortunately, we find out that the better the wrestler you are, kind of the crappier of a human being you are, because unfortunately the ego goes up with the talent, right? And Jason is a guy that I think, God, he's top 3 for me as far as opponents. Like find a hole. Like if you can find a hole in that guy's offense or defense, you let me know. I don't know of one. I've always been an Ultra fan and kept tabs on him even when I was deployed and in Texas and everything else. Just because he's worth watching, and so to have him is great. But that leaves me one last thing. C.Red, I got a bone to pick with you. Last time I was on this show, you promised me a Frontline Pro appearance. You promised. We can rewind the tape. We can bring it back. But you promised. So, you know who else promised and didn't show up? One of your nephews. So maybe you can bring one of your nephews to Frontline Pro and stand in his corner and help him out. And I'll give you even a choice. As a matter of fact, no, I don't want to give you a choice. I don't want to give you a choice. I'm going to give you the best one that you want. I'm going to give you the thing that you want the most. I'm going to give you the best invitation I can give you because I know he's going to be excited for this.
Oh shit.
I want to invite the final level to Frontline Pro. I want to invite Chris Logan and Marche Rocket on in. You can manage them. I would love for you to be in their corner and manage them. And I will do the best that I can to find a very fitting replacement. Luckily for us, there's a lot of great talent around in Wisconsin. We got guys who swing shovels around and talk about dead bodies.
For fuck's sake. All right, I'm done.
Yeah.
It's too much.
I'm not saying anything else. I'm just saying there's guys like that.
I gave him that shovel back, goddammit.
People I can call. I'm not saying I'm calling that guy. I'm just saying there's people you can call. There's a lot of people you could call. I mean, there's guys, I don't know. Backwoods Brown is a really big dude. I wonder, hey, Steve, what does that look like? Backwoods Brown and Joey Avalon versus the final level.
You're going to need a bigger building.
That's pretty gnarly.
That's some trucks.
That's a gnarly match. That is a gnarly match. I think that's a gnarly match. Final level versus Quinn Whittick and Shaq Jordan. That would be pretty. I think I'd like that one a whole heck of a lot. Or maybe I just call my brother from Florida and the McCoys get back together, and then the McCoys will just take on the final level. And C.Red, you know me, chasing you. We got a whole lot of history there. So like, he's rubbing. The second I bring Chase into it, he rubs his beard because he knows. And but no, I definitely want to do that. And I know Chris is a very important, he's busy cop. He's got stuff to do. There's things. And Marche, I get it, NWA all the time. I mean, he's all over the place. But I think there's one day this whole year we can kind of throw it all together, figure a little something out, and make it a thing, and maybe the winner of that. Ooh, Steve, you want to go up it? We can up it because, like, if we're gonna find a level, we should up it.
Oh,
so, like, so what if the winner of that gets to face one of our 2 named tag teams that are coming in for 2025?
Don't say it.
Oh, that sounds.
I heard rumors. Don't say it.
I'm not gonna give it away yet. Oh no, we gotta leave.
I've heard the rumor.
You
No.
know-
God, no.
But what if the final level fought those guys, Steve?
Oh.
I feel like that would be like that'd be a pretty big.
Is it 2025 yet?
I'm,
All right,
I'm just saying.
Fred, you just say yes right now. Right now, say yes.
Final level knows how to stay clear of machine guns from Detroit. They'll be fine. You know, then I don't think they really have too much to worry about. That, and as long as they stay away from, I don't know, Cameron, North Carolina. But anyways, point being is, there's a lot we could do with this. So I leave it in your corner. It's all up to, call your clients. I mean, I know you're retired now, but call your clients. I know you still got that Rolodex. Don't lie to me. So, and don't let him lie to you either. He totally has like the old like card one.
I know
like
he does. Oh yeah.
Don't let him lie. He absolutely has one of those. So flip through that old thing, right? Find Marche's rocket and his number, dust it off, and see if he's done playing Mr. Mom, and then he can come in, and then Chris Logan, I mean, if you can find him. I mean, besides Wrestle League shows, he's kind of AWOL. I don't know wherever he goes, but I mean, he can. I mean, and that guy still owes me a fight, technically, to be honest with you. And I'm not
there for that. I was there for that challenge. I had the microphone in the middle of that challenge.
And Steve, I mean, I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but I definitely showed up to all the Frontline Pro shows.
Oh Jesus Christ!
I'm
oh God! Oh God!
I was not the one who did not show up. That is all I'm saying. I love stirring. This is so fun. This is just like he's dying right now. He's like, all right, just keep talking, young man. It's fine. So,
Well,
but no, I would have you if you could talk those guys into it. I'd love to make it happen. I think it would be a ton of fun, and that's the cool thing about us, man. We always want to do different stuff, fun stuff, and just be. I got asked recently if I get frustrated or jealous of other companies' successes, which is like weird. But I had somebody ask me that, and they were very like literal and serious. And my answer wasn't no because of I mean, obviously you're supposed to be humble and say, oh no, we want everybody to do well. Everybody should do well. And obviously, yes, that's true. But it's a lot more of we just aren't doing what they're doing. It's not the same thing. It's like apples and oranges, or open heart surgery versus a lobotomy. They might both be surgeries, but they're not the same thing.
that's fair.
And because of that, I think that's why it is so harmonious with what we're doing, because we do feel that it's a different product. It's a different, and that's not to say we're better than anybody by any stretch. It's just to say that what we're doing feels much more like a movement of progress as a team than it does as a bunch of people showing up to throw an event, if that makes sense. So,
Red, this is where you say yes.
this is
simply say, I'll be there, name the time, I'll get the boys in the car, we'll drive up, we'll take on whoever you have waiting for us, and then we'll move on and take on some Carolina ins.
I'll pay the overinflated fees they're going to charge me. It's so not true. They're so nice about it. I'm so sorry. I can't even say that one with a straight face on my face.
Sabbatical over. Sabbatical over. Sabbatical over.
Well, I don't know. Last time C.Red turned down a challenge. I'm just saying.
Man, you got put on the motherfucking spot, bro. Oh, you're going to look so weak if you don't take this.
To quote Cat Williams, you associate yourself with losers, which is not like you. All right, I'm done. Now I'm gonna get calls from both those guys. Like, what the hell are you talking shit for me on Steve's podcast?
Oh man, there's gonna be an army of people that are gonna be just dumbfounded by these announcements and these challenges.
Well, and that's the hope. You know, I love your guys' show. You guys do good stuff. I appreciate you guys giving a platform and a spotlight to independent wrestling. A lot of people do it anymore. Kind of was one of those things where like a podcast was kind of a phase for a lot of people, and nowadays there's just not much of that anymore. So appreciate you guys giving a voice to people and a platform to people who desperately need it. Because to be honest, besides social media, there isn't a whole lot to promote yourself these days. You know, there isn't the word of mouth of territory days are gone. You know, now it's about either building a home base where you build up your crowd or finding a traveling circuit which fits your bottom line as you can hit the towns and make a certain amount of draw for fans. So yeah, we're just trying to do the best we can with what we got now. And it's just been a very lucky experience. As I think about the 6 years, there's too many people to thank, but I do want to, if you don't mind, if I can give just like 4 people some flowers, if that's all right.
By all means.
And I'm going to sound like Kevin Durant for a minute. My mom, you the real MVP. Yeah, my mom has done everything you can think of. Obviously, Crystal is the magistrate and doing all the extra stuff, bookkeeping and all the behind the scenes stuff that nobody ever sees. And then obviously our talent, past, present, and hopefully the future. And then last but not least, just any venue that ever worked with us, the Holiday Inns, you know, the Legions that we've worked in, you know, the community centers, Salvation Army, you know, Naval Station, Great Lakes. You know, we've been really lucky and fortunate to work with a lot of great people. And so, you know, we're at show 50. We're going to get to show 100. And then I'm going to take a 3-day siesta and figure out what we're going to do from there. And we'll go from that point. But that's kind of the plan. And I'm just excited, man. It's a fun time to be in wrestling. We're very lucky. We've kind of experienced 3 booms, if you think about it. There was the big boom in the 80s of our childhood, the Attitude Era, and then there's kind of now in like the last year and a half to 2 years, that has just been, you know, you could even go back to the start of AEW if you wanted. But there's been this kind of shift where there's just so much variety, but at the same time, so much showcasing where there's actually a free agency type of like 10 years ago, we would never talk about people's free agent wrestling status. We would maybe talk about, oh, hey, did you see so-and-so showed up on Raw last night? But now we live in a time where you got guys like MJF talking about the War of 24 for the bidding war. You got, you know, Okada goes to AEW and makes, you know, $12 million, which is astronomical for a Japanese wrestler to America as far as payment goes. Far more than anything that Nakamura ever got from E for a contract. So it's, I mean, and we're getting dream matches. I mean, we got Sting to 62. Like, we are insanely lucky to have. I mean, we got Edge still doing stuff in his 50s. We have, you know, all these, you know, old Hall of Famers coming. The Rock is doing stuff. We have The Rock. Whoever thought we'd have The Rock again? And while he's playing the heel Rock, which I love Hollywood Rock. I think it's great because he knows exactly what he's doing. And I think, you know, you have that. I think, you know, Triple H running WWE now, and whether people like Tony Khan or not, there is success to the formula. I think is really loose, and they got to fix a lot of things. But there is success to the. And I think everybody needs to watch out for TNA, man. I think I just got this funny feeling that they're going to get some extra backing before the end of the year. They're going to really put the hammer down going into 25. And that roster is sick. Have you seen that roster lately? Josh Alexander is not. They ranked him number 9 in the top PWI 500, and they're all wrong. That man is the top 3 wrestler in the world. Maybe Danielson, and maybe you go work rate Rollins if you go presence Rhodes. But I mean, besides those 2 people or 3 people, I don't see anybody better than Josh Alexander. And as far as technicians go, he's number 1. He is the best technician in the world right now.
You know, TNA, speaking of TNA, I mean, obviously they're doing huge things. You know, NWA is enjoying a rebirth, and they're bringing back a territory mentality with what they're doing. So you're right. Right now is a great time to be in this business and be a fan of this business, because anything you've ever wanted, just like social media, just like YouTube, just like your computer, anything you want, you can find, get, and enjoy.
Absolutely.
Ben, we have had a blast, my friend. This has been eye-opening, and you calling C.Red out might be one of the greatest things that's ever happened on this show. I'm going to name the episode Ben McCoy calls out C.Red, and let the people just wonder what that means.
You got to take your shot when you got him. And I wasn't even going to bring it up, but this whole time we were sitting here, I was like, man, that dude totally said he was coming. Like, it was like, let's make some business. And I was like, hey, here's my dates. And then like, where'd he go? So it was what it was. But that's cool. Hey, if I got his attention now, I'll take it.
You got his attention. And he's got a ride, so he's got very few excuses at this point.
Oh man, and I love that you're gonna put the screws to him and be like, well, I mean.
So when am I picking you up, Red? I can leave my house a half hour early.
And if you can't get the final level, just get whichever one of them has enough courage to come. I gotta stop talking.
Hell, get clutches if you want them.
I kicked right. I'm gonna like thrust kicked right through the throat. So by one, neither one of them.
Marche and Jazz just have a touches reunion.
Is probably one of the funnest guys I've. That's another story for another time. That guy is hilarious. One of the most.
He's even funnier now than he's ever been. So that's really cool. Ben, thank you for taking time tonight. Thank you for enlightening us and enjoying the evening with us. 6th anniversary show, Call to Arms this Saturday, Marshfield, Wisconsin at the Bakersville Bar and Grill. I'll see you there. Everybody will see you there on the Premier Streaming Network or the Premier Wrestling Network, whatever we're calling it. Thank you. And we really appreciate your time, my friend.
Appreciate you guys. Have a good night.
All right.
Thank you.
That is Bulletproof Ben McCoy doing Bulletproof Ben McCoy things. Damn, Red, you got called out. He called you out. It's now public. You got called out. He dropped the mic. He dropped the mic on your head. He called out the final level.
Yeah, you shouldn't have did that one.
And he's got people. Okay. He's got people waiting for you.
Okay.
Oh, man, that was fun. Rachel, wasn't that fun?
That was delightful.
And
I love seeing things before everybody else, and so seeing the belts was pretty awesome. What were you saying?
I said Andy's right in the middle of this, being a champion at Frontline.
He's technically a battle-tested champion.
Well, he's still got gold in Wisconsin, and he was a regular participant.
Although, what's worth more in Wisconsin, gold or cheese curds?
Spotted cow. And there's no.
Andrew just yelled from the other room cheese, so I think we have the answer.
Okay, we'll go with cheese. Call the Arms is at the Oak Avenue Community Center. I said it was at the Bakersfield Bar and Grill. That is not correct. It's at the Oak Avenue Community Center, which is also in Marshfield. It's a little stretch up down the road before I have to offer a retraction next week. I'm just going to blame Xfinity for their shitty cable service.
Fuck.
All right. So we're going to wrap this up. It's been a great show. We've had a lot of fun, and I've really enjoyed it. Anytime Ben comes on, it's really cool because Ben is just, he makes you excited. And he made me excited, and he made Red excited by challenging his monkey ass.
Oh, now I'm a monkey.
I said that like The Rock. Oh. I said that like The Rock. He challenged.
He doesn't say that. He says candy ass.
He says monkey ass. He said monkey ass too. It was never on a t-shirt like candy ass, but he said it. It always made me laugh. Heel rock is better than face rock, I think, but that's just me. Next Tuesday night on this show, we are getting a very special guest that I have been trying to book on this show for a couple of years now. She is absolutely tearing it up as a commentator, ring announcer, much like myself, down in Texas and New Orleans around the Booker T area. And our guest, and there she is, Pax beat me to it. Pax beat me to it. The lovely and talented Brittany Hootlin will be joining us next Tuesday night on the Power Hour. And she is a first-class commentator, first-class ring announcer. Her marriage to Nigel was very well documented on social media. We'll talk to her about that. But she is as good as it gets, and we're really excited that she's going to take some time out of her schedule to talk to us about what she's doing in Texas and New Orleans, respectively, because she's doing big things. So that'll be next Tuesday night. I want to finish this show with some thank yous because obviously, it's been well documented that last Friday night I got to be a part of NWA Chicago Arrival that happened in Highland Park. And it was a really cool night for me for a couple of reasons. I mean, obviously, a lot of the CSW superstars were there, which meant a lot of the CSW fans were there. So to get up in that ring to start the show, to have them chanting my name as owner of NWA, Billy Corrigan, was watching from the wings, shaking his head, going, "Who is this motherfucker?" was
Well, now he knows it's motherfucking Steve.
That's right. So that was a surreal moment. It was absolutely surreal for the fans to be chanting my name. So that was a thrill, and the night was great, and everybody at NWA was really cool to work with. But for me, on a personal level, the fact that Rachel and Andy and Hazel and Eurothrash and Judgment Dave and their daughter Ava came to support me representing the Knockouts. When I saw them, I got butterflies in my stomach. To have that kind of support from my family at the Knockouts, I can't quantify it properly, and I can't thank them enough. It was emotional. I felt appreciated in a way that I don't think I've ever felt in the 11 years that I've been doing this. I mean, people say nice things and it's great, and I really appreciate, all the kind words, but to have them drive all the way into Chicago on a Friday night just to support me doing this thing at NWA is something that I will never, ever be able to repay on my best day. So, Rachel, I just wanted you to know how much it meant and how much the Knockouts mean to me. I'm going to miss a couple of Frontline shows because as much as important as Frontline is to me, the Knockouts are just as important for different reasons. So I'm there 10 of 12 dates this year for Frontline, but I'm also missing a couple of dates, and I'm not sure Ben knows it yet, but I'm going to miss Kurt Angle for the Knockouts because I can't miss.
Oh, well, I'm going to miss the Knockouts for Kurt Angle, so.
I can't. You can't do that
Sorry,
to me now.
my 90s, early 2000s inner child is going to be busy that day.
I have to be there for the season finale. I missed it last year. And
is it the season finale? Who knew?
I mean, it is, isn't it? November is the last show, right?
Why did I think it was October?
No, Freedom Cup is November.
So
then
I'm all messed up.
That'll be the championship bout, and as much as
if one of my main teams isn't in the bout, we'll see.
All right. Well, as much as I would love to meet Kurt Angle and represent Frontline on that big show, the season finale of the Knockouts is incredibly important because it's the night the two teams that fought hardest face off for the Golden Skate. So I missed it last year. I said I'm never missing this again. So I as much as I want to see Kurt Angle and do good work for Ben, I absolutely have to be committed to the Knockouts on that night. So that's that. As far as NWA goes, all the superstars from NWA that were there Trevor Murdoch, Joe Alonzo, Daisy Kill, Kerry Morton, Kenzie Page. They were all so who am I missing? I'm missing Brian Idle. Brian Idle, who was doing a lot of great work behind the scenes. I'd never met him before. A great locker room general. Got just so much great talent that I had never met before were so nice to me. Like I said, Red might be working NWA on May 3rd. Seems like he will be. I don't know if I will be, but I'll tell you what, even if I'm not, the fact that I got to do that first show and be a
Well,
part.
I'll say it right now. Billy Corgan is a fool if you're not working. William Patrick Corgan is a fool if you are not working on May 3rd. A fool.
I appreciate that. That's lovely. The man that was in charge of the rosters in the locker room that night had a conversation with me at the end, and they gave me some constructive criticism that I will take to heart and work on. So, just to do it one time, just to work under that umbrella one time, and to have that picture right there that's on the NWA website. I mean, that's a great shot of the fact that there was a huge crowd in Highland Park, but that the bigger than little blip in the middle in the black suit up on the monitors, that's me on NWA's website. So if nothing ever happened again, I was there that night with that crowd in that venue at that moment that started NWA Chicago. So they can't take that away from me. They can't even try. And I got into a pissing contest with not only Kerry Morton, but Joe Alonzo on Twitter, because Kerry Morton called me a fat announcer. And I took umbrage with that, because anytime somebody does that, no matter where I work, say it to my face, bitch. But that's, neither here nor there.
Yeah, bitch.
That bitch. And he called himself Mr. NWA. So when I called Kerry Morton Mr. NWA, Joe Alonzo popped in and said, "He's not Mr. NWA, idiot." And I said, "That's what he said, though." So, there's this whole thing. But, again, NWA, Chicago, it's going to be great. The young talent from CSW shines so bright, and the stars of NWA, it was a terrific show. Very enjoyable for anybody that was watching. And even though EC3 was supposed to be there and he couldn't, what Mario Pardua and Mims did in the main event was a phenomenal match. And boy, did the Boz get a lot of love. The BOZ was the toast. And he had Billy Corgan popping and clapping, and it was interesting to see the promoter, a rock star, a bona fide rock and roll star, probably a future Hall of Famer, be in this element, loving wrestling so much and so a part of it. He was clapping and cheering, and he was part of the show. And then he came and he dropped a promo at the end. So kudos to William Patrick Corgan for a first-class production and a first-class organization. I was happy to be there. So that's my NWA story. Next week, it's Brittany. And don't miss Frontline. Don't miss CSW this weekend. Thanks to Red for being great and accepting that challenge like I know he will. Thanks to Cactus Rack for just being the greatest knockout of all time.
I don't think anyone agrees with that, but thank you.
Hey, you're our podcast partner. You're number one. And then thanks to PX, our silent partner with all the photos tonight. Pat, man, you have been on fire, and you're right. Comcast does indeed suck.
I got your back, Steve, with that.
How is the LIM doing? You guys had quite a few beverages. You guys made it home okay, I take it.
We did make it home okay. I will say Tony Gabagool loved his first Super Wrestler, was telling people all about it throughout, and that's all we've been talking about the past 2 days. He really, really enjoyed himself.
Did you go to the after party at Bad Habit?
We did not. Did you guys?
No, Red and I are old men that had to work early in the morning, so we had to fly. But
So are Andrew and I.
Cactus and I are taking the next day off for our birthdays, so we're gonna party hardy at the end of the next Super Wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like a plan.
All right, that's all we got tonight. Thanks for watching. We will see you around the bend for Urban Sensation C.Red, Cactus Rack, PX, and Rion, wherever he might be. Thanks for watching the Power Hour, and we will see you next Tuesday. Good night.